We're
Ready?
Yes.
Brilliant. Okay. Well, welcome everyone. Thanks for joining us this evening. Tonight we're going to be going through an introduction to essential oils class, specifically doTERRA essential oils. So I know some of you may have come to a class before and are here for a refresher, and some of you already have some doTERRA oils that you want to learn about, and for some of you this will be completely new. So feel free to put any questions in the comments box and we'll try and get to them at the end, and we hope you enjoy it. So I'm going to do a quick introduction to myself and then ask Sarah and Darcy to introduce themselves as well, because we'll all be hosting it tonight, and then we'll get started after that. So for those of you who don't know me, my name's Chloe. I came to doTERRA Essential Oils probably about 15 months ago now, and I just fell in love with them right from the start, and it's become a slight obsession of mine. I love them and I use them every day. I use them on myself, on my family, and it's pretty much all we use now at home to support our physical health and our emotional health. I've been able to get rid of a lot of toxic chemicals and cleaners in my house by using essential oils instead, and there's lots of things that I've been able to replace and use essential oils in their place as a natural sort of solution instead. So that's kind of where I'm coming from. I've got 2 children who are 6 and 3 nearly, and they love the oils too. And so, yeah, so I'm going to hand you over to Sarah to introduce herself as well. Oh, you might be muted, Sarah.
Thank you, Chloe. So good evening everybody. Thank you for coming. Lovely to see you all here. My name's Sarah Barber. I came across the oils about 6 months ago. I've always been interested in sort of natural solutions and had quite a few oils already before finding the doTERRA oils, and I used them a little bit. And when I experienced the doTERRA oils and joined a class just like this one, initially I was just attending the class to find out a little bit more about oils in general and see if I could get a few tips on, using the oils I already had. But after getting educated and understanding, the real difference between the doTERRA oils and other oils, I knew that I had to get some and wanted to share them with other people. And I honestly can say that, I haven't used any of my old oils for, the reasons that we'll explain tonight. So yeah, I love to use these oils. I use them every day. I use them on myself and my family. I use them with my clients. I'm a nutritional therapist as well. And I'm really having a great time with them and experiencing a lot of benefits from using them. So that's me. I'll hand you over to Darcy now.
Thank you. So I'm Darcy Cherry. I'm compared to Chloe and Sarah, a bit newer to doTERRA. So I discovered doTERRA oils in December, and like Sarah, I'd had some experience of using essential oils previously, but kind of limited. I think I was just using them for their kind of that they smelt nice, I think, and didn't really notice a lot of practical benefits or effects from them. So when I came along to my first class in December, I was really blown away by the breadth of use that they can be used for to treat really common and prevalent health issues at home. So I got really excited about them, and the more I've used the oils, the more wowed I am really by how incredible they are. And not only have I fallen in love with them, but my whole family has fallen in love with them as well. So like just tonight, just to give you a quick example, I had my daughter, 3-year-old, come quite excitedly telling me about her sore bottom and how she needed some oils. And I said, right, well, we'll pick the right oil. And she said, yay, oils. So yeah, I think it's, I feel really blessed that we've discovered these oils and are and feeling really empowered to use them as a tool to improve our health. So yeah.
Thanks, Darcy. My daughter's exactly the same, and she just loves the oils. And yeah, if something happens, or even if something hasn't happened, she might come to me and say, I've hurt my finger, and I say, oh, I'll give it a kiss, and she says, no, I need oils. Yeah, I think children are very drawn to them just because they smell so wonderful as well.
Yeah, they do.
So yeah. Okay, so we'll kick off tonight. So we're going to talk tonight about one of the kits that doTERRA has put together called the Family Physician Kit, and it's a kit of 10 core oils that's designed to be used as a natural medicine cabinet, and those 10 oils together will cover you for most of your sort of physical and emotional ailments. It's a really good place to start with doTERRA essential oils. But first, we're just going to do a quick intro. We're going to talk about what is an essential oil, what sets doTERRA apart, what makes their oils very different from anything else you can buy on the market, how we can use doTERRA essential oils, and then a little bit of safety. And then we'll go through and talk about each of the oils in this incredible kit. So let's get started. What is an essential oil? So just really basically, it is a natural aromatic compound that is extracted from plants. It's highly volatile. It's the scent of the plant. And it's extracted either through steam distillation, mostly through steam distillation, but some of the citrus oils, for example, are cold pressed under very high pressure to get the oils out. So the essential oil, compared with, say, the herb, the dried herb, the herbal equivalent, the essential oil is 50 to 70 times stronger than the herbal equivalent. So it's very potent, very powerful. And a really great example of that is that 1 drop of peppermint essential oil, doTERRA peppermint essential oil, is the equivalent of 28 cups of peppermint tea. So a little bit really does go a long way. They're very powerful and very potent, but when we use them within doTERRA's guidelines, they're very safe as well. So the essential oil, I found this fascinating when I first learnt this, is actually the immune system of the plant. So in just the same way that you and I have an immune system, a plant develops an immune system over its lifetime to ward off unwanted pests, to attract pollinators, to help protect it against things like disease and fungus, bacteria, viruses, all those sorts of things. And because we have a similar makeup to plants, we're carbon-based like plants, we can tap into that immune system. So when we extract the plant's immune system, the essential oils, and we use those oils on our body or in our body, those therapeutic qualities of the oil go to work on our behalf just as they would for the plant, which is really exciting. So we can tap into those qualities of for fighting viruses, fighting bacteria, helping to detox our cells, all of those things we can tap into. So that's basically what an essential oil is. So why would you choose doTERRA essential oils? There are a lot of oils out there on the market. Some are higher quality than others, but there are lots out there. So one thing that I found quite shocking is that there's no regulation in the essential oil industry that governs what must be in a bottle of essential oil that says 100% pure on the side. I would have thought it would have meant 100% pure in the bottle, but it doesn't. And actually, it only has to contain 2 to 3% essential oil in the bottle to be called 100% pure. Obviously, you know, there are different sort of qualities from brand to brand, and some will have a higher percentage than others, but many of them are diluted or they have contaminants in there. So the rest might be made up of a carrier oil or a similar essential oil that's cheaper, it smells similar but doesn't have the same therapeutic properties, or it might be an alcohol, or it might be a synthetic fragrance. And as a consumer, we don't know what we're getting. And that's why we would always say with any other brand of essential oil, you would never take it, for example, internally, and you probably would never put it on your skin neat, for example. doTERRA recognised that when an oil is 100% pure, it has some incredible therapeutic properties. And they realised this, and they made it their mission to source and produce the world's purest essential oils. So in the absence of this regulation, doTERRA has put together their own standard, and they call it CPTG, which stands for Certified Pure Therapeutic Grade. And you'll find it on the side of every single doTERRA bottle of essential oil. And CPTG means a few things. So the first thing it means is that the oils are, the plants are sourced from where they would naturally and indigenously grow around the world. We know, research shows that the climate and the geographical location and the soil conditions of where a plant is grown contribute to the quality of the essential oil that the plant produces. And a plant that's grown in its natural habitat, in its natural environment, produces a higher quality, more potent essential oil than a plant, for example, farmed or in a greenhouse, somewhere in a climate that it would not be found indigenously growing. A really great example of that is that most herbalists will know that if they're using lavender, for example, they will always select a lavender from the Alps in France as opposed to a lavender from England, because they know that lavender from the Alps in France has a much more potent effect, is more stronger than a lavender grown in England. So with doTERRA, the plants are always sourced from where they indigenously grow around the world. So for example, the lemons are from Sicily, the frankincense is from Oman and Somalia, and the lavender is from the French Alps and Bulgaria. And that contributes to a higher quality of essential oil. So the next thing is that the plants are very patiently grown and harvested. The doTERRA always waits until the oil has fully matured. So the plants are never forced. And then the growing is not rushed. And they're very, very carefully and sensitively distilled to extract the oil. And doTERRA very carefully monitors the temperature and the pressure when they're extracting the essential oil to make sure that the chemical composition in the oil is not damaged in any way when it's extracted. And much of the essential oil around the world is harvested for the perfume industry, which has no interest in the therapeutic qualities of the oil. They're just interested in the smell. And so they're more interested in getting the most amount of oil in the shortest possible time, because that's the cheapest way to do it. So you can distill that quite aggressively to do that, but that will damage the chemical composition of the oil and hence the therapeutic properties. So doTERRA is very aware of that and has strict procedures in place about how the oil is distilled. And then once it's been distilled, every single batch of essential oil around the world for doTERRA is shipped to their head office in America, where it undergoes really thorough and rigorous testing. And it goes through more testing than anyone else in the industry, way more than industry standard. And doTERRA does 5 specific tests on every single batch of oil. So it's not just random samples of oil, it's every single batch. Those tests are done in-house by doTERRA, and then they're shipped out to an independent third-party laboratory and rerun to make sure that those results can be duplicated. So that just to ensure there's no bias within doTERRA. And what they're looking for is they're looking to make sure there's nothing in that oil that shouldn't be in there. So all the plants are grown organically anyway, but doTERRA wants to make sure there's no pesticide residues in there, no heavy metals in there, no mold, no fungus, nothing in there that shouldn't be in there, that it's just 100% pure plant which is of a very high quality. And any oil that doesn't meet the standards required by the test is then discarded. It's not sold by doTERRA. So as a consumer, we know that when we see CPTG on the side of the bottle, that's our guarantee. That means that every single drop of oil in that bottle is guaranteed 100% to be certified pure therapeutic grade, and it's safe for us to use in the ways that doTERRA advises us to use these oils. There's also a new website, fairly new website that doTERRA has brought out, which is really exciting. It's called source2u.com, source2u.com. And you can go onto that website, and there's loads of information on there about how the oils are sourced, how they're distilled, the tests that the oils are put through. And one of the features on that website is every bottle of oil has on the bottom a serial number. And you can go onto that website, tap in the serial number on the bottom of your bottle of oil, and it will bring up one of the test results, the GCMS testing, which is gas chromatography mass spectrometry test results for your bottle of oil, which means it's totally traceable. It's totally transparent, and you can see the exact quality of the oil that you have in your hand, which is just incredible. It's nobody else in the industry is doing that, and it's just a really wonderful thing. So that's a little bit about CPTG. Something else about doTERRA, which is really close to my heart, is that they operate something called co-impact sourcing. So this is their business model. And what it means is they want to help us, you and me, with these incredible oils to help support our health naturally. But they also really want to give back to the communities where these oils come from. So over half of the communities, the countries where these oils come from, are third world countries. And doTERRA, what normally happens in the essential oil industry is there's a sort of a middleman, an agency that will buy up a lot of this essential oil, and the price can fluctuate, and the amount that the people growing the oil get paid depends on how much oil they produce, and they don't have sort of any financial security because their income can vary so much. So with doTERRA, they never work with a middleman. They work directly with these small, independent, small-scale farmers. They don't pay them for the amount of oil they produce. They pay them a fair monthly wage regardless of the amount of oil that's produced. They set up lifelong contracts. They provide lots of training, and they just invest in that community wherever that community needs it. So they've built schools, they've built community centres, they've built housing. They've done lots of work with these communities, and they really want to give back and provide the financial security that they need. So that's something that's really important to me. And doTERRA has they have several foundations, but they have the Healing Hands Foundation, which does a lot of work with communities around the world. So say, for example, where there have been the earthquakes in Nepal, the Healing Hands Foundation has gone out there and they've built 2 earthquake-proof schools. They've built temporary housing and just really invested there. There's 2 other foundations that come to mind. So there's Operation Underground Railroad, where doTERRA is working really hard to help bring an end to human trafficking. And they do there's another foundation called Days for Girls, where they're working with women from communities to help support them with their bodies and their monthly cycles and provide what they need in that regard. So they're doing a lot of work. It's a very humanitarian, ethical company, and that's something that was really important to me. In fact, in talking so much, I haven't gone through any of the slides that I was supposed to do. So you can see here, certified pure therapeutic grade means it's natural, no artificial ingredients, fragrances or fillers, and it's certified to be free of pesticides and other chemical residues, potent, standardized, active compounds. And you can see here, this is a really great visual chart just to show where in the world some of these oils come from. So these oils are coming from literally all over the world. And this is a picture of some of the founders of doTERRA, 4 of the founders of doTERRA in Haiti. So there's a really wonderful YouTube video. You can just go onto YouTube and search for it, where in Haiti is where the vetiver oil grows. And vetiver is a grass, and the oil comes from the root of the grass. And when doTERRA set up their partnership with these farmers in Haiti, went out to visit them, they found that the village where the plants were being grown didn't even have running water at that time. So the first thing doTERRA did was put in a pipeline for them, for that village, so that they had water on tap in the village. It's a really lovely video. Okay, so how can we use essential oils? So with doTERRA, there's 3 basic ways we can use essential oils. We can use them aromatically. I have a diffuser here. I don't know if you can see this, and it's literally just run out of water. Perfect timing. So we like the cold water diffusers rather than burning the oils, which can destroy some of the therapeutic properties. So with the cold water diffusers, you've literally just got cold water in there. You put sort of 3 or 4 drops of essential oil in there, put the lid on and turn it on. And it doesn't heat the oils at all. It's just sort of bubbling the water. And then because the essential oil is so volatile, it comes out of the top of the diffuser in a sort of vapor stream. So that's a really great way to use the oils. And that way you can purify the air of unwanted odors. It could kill off airborne bacteria, mold spores. Just really great way to use it. And if you haven't got a diffuser, you could use yourself as a human diffuser. You could put a drop in your hand, rub together and inhale. I've got I think a few of us now have got these really lovely diffuser necklaces, which you just open up and put a few drops of your favourite essential oil in there, and then you can close that up. And I used to think, smelling an essential oil, it's a nice thing to do, but it doesn't necessarily do anything. It might be a bit sort of fluffy, but actually those molecules, those tiny, tiny molecules of the essential oil, they travel up your nasal cavity to the limbic part of your brain. So that's actually going into your brain, and the limbic part of your brain is the seat of many things, memories, emotions. So the fastest way to get support and help with our emotions, or to change an emotion, is via our sense of smell, which we can do with essential oils, which is really exciting. So that's aromatic. We can also use the oils topically, which is really great. So wherever you feel, you might need some help topically. So say, for example, you might have a burn, you might have burnt yourself on the oven. You can reach for lavender essential oil and put that on topically where the burn is. Or if you had sort of sore, stiff muscles, you could rub in an essential oil into your muscles. There's lots of different ways that we can use them. If you had a headache, you could put an essential oil across your forehead or on your temples. Lots of great ways. With these oils, they are incredibly safe to use, and I use a lot of them neat on my skin. However, we always say, everybody has a different chemical makeup. Everybody's bodies are different. And some people do have or might have a sensitivity to a particular oil. So it's always good to test it on your skin first. A great place to test it is on the soles of your feet. The skin's thicker there. And if you noticed any sensitivity, any redness, then the first thing you would do is dilute it with a carrier oil, or just wipe it off with a carrier oil. And then you might know that in future use a different oil, or only use that oil diluted. But it's basically a good idea to start off always diluting the oils until you get to understand how the oils work with your body. And often I think people think that by diluting the oils on their skin, they're actually making the effect less. But the oils are so volatile, if you put that on your skin, there is a degree of evaporation, and actually using a carrier oil helps it to keep it on the skin long enough to be absorbed better. So often using a carrier oil can make it more effective too. So that's topically. And incidentally, if you do put 1 drop of oil on the soles of your feet, within 20 seconds, that's found in your bloodstream. And within 30 minutes, that's affected every cell in your body. So it really does have a systemic effect just by putting it on the soles of your feet. And that's a really great way to use the oils for children as well, because it's quite a gentle way in, but it does have that systemic effect. So it's aromatically, topically, and then the third way, and I would never recommend doing this with any other brand of essential oil, but with doTERRA, I've come to trust them with my life. And with doTERRA oils, we can take them internally as well. And there's several ways to do that. So you might put a drop, say for example, of lemon in your water and drink that every morning. That's a really lovely cleansing drink. Or you might use doTERRA do empty veggie capsules. So you could open up a veggie capsule, put a drop or two of essential oil in, close the capsule and then swallow that. And that's a way to get it directly into your gut. Or many of us make raw chocolates. You can add them to raw chocolates or smoothies or juices or salad dressings. There's lots and lots of ways to use these internally. And it just makes it a really exciting way for them, another exciting way for them to support us in our health as well. So that's the 3 ways to use the oils. Oh, I just wanted to show you this as well. So I think Sarah and Darcy are going to talk, about the oils later, but this is just a really great slide. So with bacteria, that floats around our bodies outside our cells, whereas viruses reside inside our cells. And one of the reasons that antibiotics are not effective against viruses is that antibiotics cannot penetrate that cell wall. So the cell wall is a sort of fatty outside layer of the cell. It's called a lipid layer. And antibiotics, which are mostly water, can't penetrate that cell wall. They get repelled by that cell wall and they can't get in. Whereas essential oils, they're lipid-based themselves. So they pass through that cell wall, they get inside our cells, and many of them have very powerful antiviral properties, which makes them effective against viruses, things like colds and flu, which antibiotics are not effective against. And this just makes them a really exciting alternative, something that we know that we can reach for that works. So a quick note on safety. Generally, the oils are very safe to use. Some of them will need to be diluted for everyone. So they're what we call hot oils, oils like oregano, cinnamon, sometimes peppermint as well. But you would need to dilute those if you're going to use them topically. Some of them you would need to dilute, others for sensitive skin, whereas others are safer to be used neat on the skin. Some of them cannot be taken internally, they're just not designed to be used that way. And I always recommend for anyone who's going to invest in these oils to get this book. It's called Modern Essentials. It's like my Bible of doTERRA essential oils, and it goes through every single oil, every single one of doTERRA's oils in this book, and it will tell you how you can safely use it, whether it needs diluting, whether you can take it internally, and whether that, so for dilution, it will take you through for an adult, for a child, for someone with sensitive skin, for a pregnant adult. It's got a really great quick usage chart on the back. It's also got a page of contraindications, possible contraindications with medications. There aren't many, but it's just good to know. And it's also got a really great A to Z index where you can look up hundreds and hundreds of ailments, and it will give you a synopsis of that ailment and then suggested doTERRA protocols, oil protocols for that ailment. So it will just really empower you to get the most out of your oils. This one here. So you can buy that from www.essentoils.co.uk. So I really highly recommend that one. And then the other thing with safety is that we don't ever put them in our eyes, directly in our ear canal or up our nose. And if we did accidentally, I know that some people do, they'll have it on their hand and they'll wipe their eye, and before they know it, they've got it in their eye. it's not necessarily going to harm, but it will probably sting. And sometimes you feel like you just want to rush to the sink and rinse it out with water, but that can actually sometimes make the situation worse. And it's better to get a carrier oil and just wipe it away with a carrier oil, and that will work really fast just to take away the sting. We really like doTERRA's fractionated coconut oil. It's a really high quality one. It goes through the same CPTG testing as all the other essential oils. And fractionated just means it's had the fat content taken out. So it's liquid at all temperatures. So you never have to worry about, warming it up to make it liquid. It will just come straight out. But if you're in a fix and you've got essential oil in your eye, then any good quality oil, even in your kitchen, and olive oil will help you just to disperse that essential oil. So that brings us to the end of the introduction, and we're going to talk about now the Family Physician Kit, which is a kit of 10 core oils, 6 single oils and 4 blends, and we're going to go through each one and just give you some ideas of how you can use it and talk about how we use them. And so I'm going to pass you over to Darcy. Are you taking over?
Hello. Are we going to do the wild orange and peppermint?
Yeah, I completely forgot. Yeah, let's do that. Thanks, Darcy. Yeah, so there's this wonderful experience that we do. And I know hopefully most of you have got some samples or your own oils to do this with. If you haven't, then hopefully your samples are on their way. But you should have some samples of wild orange and peppermint essential oil. And this is just such a lovely experience. This is my morning addiction. I love this. So if you've got your oils with you to hand, and if you've got sample oil bottles, by the way, you need to turn them upside down and tap the bottom to get the oil out. And you need to tap it 3 times. And that's the equivalent of 1 drop from a normal bottle. So first, we're going to put out our hand and put in 1 drop of wild orange essential oil. So all the citrus oils are what we call happy oils. They're mood elevators. Wild orange is great for anxiety and depression. It's an adaptogen to stress. Just a really lovely oil. So have a smell of that one. And then in the other hand, we're going to put just literally 1 drop of peppermint essential oil. And peppermint is, I always say peppermint peps you up. So it's great for mental alertness, focus. It's a memory aid. So 1 drop of peppermint, and have a smell. And then gently rub your hands together. And without touching your face, cup your hands to your face, close your eyes, and take 2 or 3 good deep inhalations. And with any residue, you can just, if you want to, you can rub that on the back of your neck. Some people find that warming, some people find it cooling. The oils are what we call amphoteric. They're adaptogens, so they behave differently in different people's bodies. It's about bringing your body back into balance. And you can probably smell as well, that peppermint's a really good decongestant. It really blows away the cobwebs and wakes you up. So it's kind of a happy wake me up, but just a really lovely experience. So
that's a great way to transition to talking about the oils, I think, as well. It gives us all a little boost. I really like doing that first thing in the morning as well.
Yeah, I do it before. If I have to go on a long drive, I'll do it before a long drive. But yeah, it's just a really lovely kind of boost. If you get that afternoon slump in energy, or you want a non-stimulant pick-me-up, then wild orange and peppermint is just really lovely. Okay, cool. So am I handing over to you, Darcy?
Yeah, I'm going to cover the first 5 oils. So
brilliant. Okay.
Slides.
There we go.
Great. So, lemon. So doTERRA lemon is sourced from Sicily. It's a great kind of cleansing oil. It's expeller pressed from the peel, and just to give you an indication of the concentration of it, it's 45 lemons. The peels from 45 lemons goes into each bottle, which is amazing. So when we say it's a great cleanser internally, first of all. So one way that I like to use it is a drop in warm water to start the morning. So before I have breakfast or any tea, I have a mug of warm water with a drop of lemon. So this has the advantage of it being alkaline, so it's not damaging to the teeth enamel, but it also helps the body to kind of safely eliminate any accumulated petrochemicals and xenoestrogens in the body's fat cells. So everyone has these in our bodies, and this is just because the world is a bit polluted, as we all know. We're exposed to petrochemicals and hormones in our food and water supply, and as much effort as we take to avoid these toxins, our bodies are exposed to them, and they store them in the fat cells. So using lemon oil is a way to help safely export those toxins from the fat cells out of the body. And when that happens, it's also contributing to weight loss. So as the body doesn't need those fat cells anymore to store the toxins, it's able to release those. And something that's useful to keep in mind when we're doing that is because it's so powerful at absorbing those petrochemicals, you always want to be using lemon in your water in a glass vessel. So, I mean, it could be glass or it could be ceramic. It could be stainless steel, but you wouldn't want to do it in a plastic cup or a plastic water bottle, because it will literally pull the petrochemicals from the plastic into the water, and you don't want to be putting that back in. So somewhere around here, I've got a really great water bottle. I think it might be in here, actually. No, but anyway, it's a glass water bottle, and you can find them on Amazon. They're everywhere. Really useful. So lemon oil is also a great cleaner in the house. So you can use it in combination with melaleuca and lavender to make up your own cleaning mix. So you can get kind of a 500 ml glass spray bottle and do about 10 drops each of lavender, lemon and melaleuca, and fill to the top with water. And this is a great non-toxic cleaner to use on windows. I've recently been using it on my windows, you know, when the condensation kind of collects and you get horrible bits of black mold and all of that. It gets it completely clean and streak-free, but also it deters any future mold growth. So limonene in the lemon oil also is able to correct any imbalances in the hormone system. So, for example, excess estrogen, which is a really common condition contributing to premenstrual symptoms and period pain. So using the lemon in the water, for example, is a great way to kind of help reduce the PMS symptoms. And for some people, I think, Chloe, you've really found it really successful in the past, haven't you?
Yeah. I didn't understand what was going on at first. I was just putting a drop of lemon in my water every morning. And that first month that I did that, because I'd had pretty crippling PMT before that, my PMT was completely gone. And I just thought, I thought it was odd, but I didn't think anything, you know, I just kind of thought it was a coincidence. And then the next month it didn't come back, and the next month it didn't come back. And by the sort of third or fourth month, I was thinking, you know, the only thing I'm doing consistently differently is this lemon in the water. Could it be that? And I thought maybe it's just very cleansing. I mean, it is. And then it wasn't until about a year later that it was explained to me that the limonene, which obviously comes from the rind of the lemon, but not the juice, helps detox excess estrogens from your body. And I thought, that makes real sense. And I wonder if that's why my PMT's completely disappeared and I haven't had it back. So it's brilliant.
Yeah, that's absolutely brilliant. So it's helping to transport those things that our body no longer needs. So another way, similarly with the lemon, reducing the fat cells from inside by releasing the toxins, it can also be used topically to treat cellulite. So if you were to take some carrier oil that you like to use on your skin, or the fractionated coconut oil to kind of rub into any problem areas, and then apply the lemon oil on top of that, this goes through the skin to help release the fat cells that are sitting under the surface causing cellulite. Another great property of lemon essential oil is that it's really uplifting to the mood. And there was actually a little project that was undertaken by doTERRA in the Vanderbilt Hospital in the United States, and they wanted to kind of put this uplifting property of lemon essential oil to the test. And what they did was they brought it to an emergency room in the hospital there, and over 100 staff and patients were surveyed about their frustration and stress levels before and after diffusing the doTERRA lemon essential oil. And the results were incredible. What they found was that frustration was reduced from 60% to 6% amongst both groups, and that stress levels were also reduced. So whilst before 41% of those surveyed were experiencing stress, afterwards only 3% were feeling stressed. And then after that, everyone was asked about whether they felt the oils had helped to create a more positive work environment. 84% of the staff strongly agreed that the doTERRA oils were helping to contribute to a more positive work environment, which is amazing. When you think about what we could be doing in our homes and in our classrooms, that we could really be making use of that as well. So moving on to, what's the next oil in your slides, Chloe?
Looks like peppermint.
Peppermint, great. So peppermint is one of the few doTERRA oils not sourced from a developing country. It comes from Washington State. And it can be both hot and cooling. So as Chloe was saying, we each have our own unique body chemistries. Some people experience it slightly differently. But when used on the skin, what it does is it stimulates the opening of the capillaries, which increases the blood flow. So that leads to a kind of warming sensation beneath the surface. But on the surface of the skin, the peppermint is create a cooling sensation, probably a contrast between the warm underneath and the cool air. So this increased blood flow also helps to ease muscle tension, and can be great for treating headaches. So if you apply it to the temples on the back of the neck at the start of a headache, and also you can use it to ease tense shoulders. Peppermint can also be used as an insect repellent and a rodent deterrent, which is great. So anyone struggling with mice or rats, which is a problem in the countryside, which we've had.
From mice, because our cat is the most terrible mouser that ever existed. So we've used peppermint essential oil, as I knew exactly where the mouse was coming in, and I just put a drop there, and we haven't had the mouse back. And I've had a couple of other people around near where I live as well who've also used peppermint essential oil to get rid of mice. But the problem is it's so humane that then they've had reports from their next door neighbour that their next door neighbour's now got a mouse problem. So they just
need some peppermint essential oil, just have to share.
Exactly.
So yeah, what you can do is you put a few drops in the corner of the kitchens or wherever you've noticed them kind of gathering, and it really deters. Peppermint's also great for indigestion and any kind of irritable bowel symptoms. It's a great one to use with colds, so it helps to relieve congestion. and blocked noses. And I think Chloe probably already mentioned, but it's also considered one of the hot oils. So it's one that's best used diluted on the skin, but especially with children. Right, so Melaleuca, is that next?
It's lavender next.
You got lavender, oh, right. Yeah, that's the start. I had lavender first on my list. So lavender is a gorgeous oil, and I think it's probably one that most people have encountered already because it's one that's really commonly used. Its properties are most commonly known as calming and soothing. doTERRA lavender is sourced from the French Alps, or the Alps in Bulgaria, and it's wonderfully calming and conducive for sleep. So it can become part of a really beautiful bedtime ritual for children. So I like to, after or before bedtime story, we do a bit of oils on the feet, or sometimes you can also put a drop onto a cuddly toy. It's a great skin beautifier, so it's often used in face creams, but what I like to do is to make my own personalized blend. You can do that. You can get these little empty roller balls, and what you do is you add a few drops of lavender and any other oils, say like frankincense or what else would be good? Frankincense, lavender, really ones in the skin, but and then you top with a carrier oil that you really like to use. So jojoba, almond, or argan oil are all great on the skin. Some people like fractionated coconut oil as well. And then you can apply that and rub that into any kind of fine line areas. Also really great for spots. So lavender is also a great antihistamine. So anyone that suffers from hay fever or other seasonal allergies, pet allergies, or even allergic reactions, say like to bee stings, what you can do is, so for hay fever, for example, you dab under the eyes, behind the ears, and at the top of the spinal cord. Yeah, so sorry, bee stings especially, it's really soothing to the skin, so it takes the sting out. And soothing to skin irritations and burns. So there's an interesting story about lavender. It was this soothing property was discovered by a perfumer who was working, this would have been over 100 years ago, and he burned himself working in his lab, and just instinctively he plunged his hand into the nearest vessel of cool liquid, which happened to be lavender essential oil. And to his surprise, he found, as he took his hand out, that the burn, not only had it relieved the pain from the burn, but it had also reduced the intensity and damage from the burn. And it was much less than what he would have expected otherwise. So it's great for any kind of skin irritation, be it sunburn, eczema, or any kind of itchy skin rashes. So that's lavender.
Darcy, have you said about lemon, lavender and peppermint together?
Yes, yeah. So those three used in combination is a great antihistamine, so any kind of allergy effect. But doTERRA also make a ready-made combination of those three oils called Trident. It's in a little soft gel, so you can take that internally. Chloe, you've got a great story, haven't you, about your brother who was visiting and had a horrible time with hay fever?
Yeah, so my brother now lives in Australia where he doesn't get any hay fever at all, but he came over to visit here last summer, and his hay fever just flared up really, really badly and very quickly, quite soon after he landed. So he was staying at my house. So in just the same way that we've all done the wild orange and peppermint experience, I gave him a drop of lemon in one hand and a drop of peppermint in the other. We rubbed together and smelled, put the rest on the back of his neck. And the lemon being very cleansing, the peppermint being a decongestant, and then the lavender was great because his eyes had all swollen up and were itchy and he couldn't stop sneezing. And we just took the smallest smidgen of lavender, not even half a drop, rubbed it between his fingers and just dabbed under his eyes. And within 10 minutes, his eyes had come down and the sneezing had stopped. And then we took 2 drops of each of those, lemon, lavender and peppermint, and we put them in the diffuser and diffused that while he slept. And then we took another 2 drops of each of those and put them in a capsule, which he took 1 capsule in the morning and 1 capsule at night. And he didn't need any of his antihistamine meds. He got by with the whole 2-week visit. I gave him enough because they were doing a tour of the UK. So I gave him a bottle of each to take with him. And he didn't need his meds the whole time. He just did the whole thing on essential oils. So he was a bit of a, a skeptic before that. After that, he was totally convinced. So yeah, he was really impressed. And often I hear that people who get really bad hay fever, sometimes the antihistamine meds don't even work. Whereas I've heard great reports of using the essential oils instead. So that's really exciting.
Perfect. That might be the solution to our rodent problem, because we've, as well as the peppermint, we could get a cat and cross our fingers that it is a good mouser. But my husband's allergic to pets, so we might just have to make a compromise if we can use the lavender, lemon, peppermint to treat his allergies for it.
Yeah, definitely. Also, I don't know if you mentioned, but lavender is a really great analgesic, so it's a pain reliever. So I've used that for things like period pain. I've put a few drops on topically and rubbed it in. Within 10 minutes, the pain is gone. And for me, that lasts pretty much the rest of the day. So it's really effective for pain relief as well.
Brilliant.
Okay, so the next slide is Melaleuca.
Melaleuca. So this is kind of more commonly known as tea tree oil. It comes from New Zealand. And it's got really strong antifungal properties. So it makes it great for use on fungal toenails, athlete's foot, and ringworm. So I've used it really successfully to treat my son's ringworm, which was a really persistent infection that we'd tried various different remedies, including resorting to steroids and antibacterial creams, and some of them didn't work at all. And obviously you go back and they keep upping the ante, and eventually the steroid cream did work. But as soon as we stopped using it, it came back, and which is around the same time that we discovered the oils. And so I made up a roller bowl for my son, which had Melaleuca, lavender and oregano in it. And he got involved in applying that to his the patches of ringworm 3 times a day, and it really knocked it out. Really, amazing. It's also got really strong antibacterial properties. So one of the ways that this can be used is in treating, dealing with ear infections. And again, that works really nicely with lavender. So what you do is you take a cotton ball and add a drop or 2 of that and the lavender, and use a plaster to just place it over the opening of the ear. And yeah, great. Works really well. So Melaleuca is also really good for treating, dealing with swollen glands, sore throats and tonsillitis. So you can use it topically with carrier oil on the surface and then the Melaleuca on the throat, or you can put a drop in water and gargle it. You can even drink it. It's not everyone's favorite smelling or tasting oil, but I have to say Melaleuca from doTERRA smells much better than other brands. It also works brilliantly in a homemade cleaner mix, which the one I referred to with the lemon. It's also great for cold sores and acne. And one of the really useful applications of Melaleuca is dealing with nits. So with nits, you can get well, for this remedy, you can get one of these glass spritzer bottles, and this is one that I sourced from a website called Essent Oils, which is really useful. I think it's a 10 ml amber glass bottle, and the amber is like the doTERRA bottles, that stops the light from penetrating to damage the structure of the oils. But so to treat nits, what we do is take about 10 drops of Melaleuca and maybe 5 drops of lavender, and fill the rest to the top with water, and use that to spritz around the hair in the morning and at night. And if you're doing that maybe in the midst of an infestation, using that alongside one of the nitty-gritty combs, it's really going to sort that out. And it's just great generally for the hair and scalp. So you can use a drop combined with your shampoo or conditioner, and it's going to be really supportive, especially if you've got any kind of flaky skin or dandruff going on. That's Melaleuca. And oregano is next. So oregano, doTERRA's oregano comes from Turkey, and it comes from the leaf of the plant, and it's great for natural immune support. It's often referred to as the big guns, or nature's own antibiotic. It's 6 times more powerful than penicillin, and when we use it in combination with Melaleuca, it's been shown to break through the sludgy kind of protect outer cell wall of bacteria and so the Melaleuca breaks through the cell wall, and the oregano gets right to the heart of the bacterium. It's also antifungal, antiviral, antimicrobial, and antiparasite. So it's kind of almost anti-everything. And you can use it internally. It is a hot oil, so you probably want to be using it in a veggie cap unless you're quite hardcore. It does kind of burn. Some people find they can take just a drop in a glass of water kind of daily just to boost your immune system, but use in bigger quantities, like as if you're using antibiotics, we would suggest that you take it for a spell of 7 to 10 days, and then give your body a rest, and maybe even follow it up with some probiotics. And so because it is a hot oil as well, it can be used to treat warts or verrucas, and also skin tags. And when you're doing that, you want to take care to apply it carefully just to the intended surface. So what you can do is use some solid coconut oil on the surrounding skin before applying it, and then just using cotton bud to dab onto the surface with the oregano. And as it says as well, you can use it as part of a cleansing regimen to deal with either worms or any other kind of bacterial imbalances. It can be a great cleanse to do on a kind of regular basis throughout the year. And
Great for candida and parasites.
Candida, yeah.
Yeah. And there's, I don't know if you've mentioned this, but there's a PubMed study that was done where they had 17 strains of multi-drug resistant bacteria, so antibiotic resistant bacteria, and oregano killed them all within 10 minutes. So it's effective against antibiotic resistant bacteria, and of course it's actually 5 times stronger than penicillin, so it's nature's strongest antibiotic, and it's also a powerful antiviral as well. So for things like pneumonia, where it could be viral or it could be bacterial, oregano is actually really effective for it either way. And obviously flu and colds and things like that. It's just a really great oil. I call it the big guns because it always works.
Brilliant.
Okay. Oh, it's a strange order. But Sarah, I can change the order if you prefer. Sure.
I'm fine. That's absolutely fine as it is. Yeah, no worries. Okay, so I'm going to talk to you. Thank you, Darcy. That was really great. So I'm going to talk to you about the blends. So within this kit, we've got 4 blends, and then at the end, we're saving the best till last. So I'll talk about frankincense at the very end. So the first blend that we're going to talk about this evening is one called Deep Blue. And Deep Blue, I always think of Deep Blue, Deep Pain. So Deep Blue is a really fantastic oil. It really can help with any type of pain. The oils within the Deep Blue are wintergreen, camphor, peppermint, blue tansy, blue chamomile, and then 2 called Ravansara and Ravansara. And these oils, some of these oils are very, very expensive. So this particular oil only ever comes in the smaller bottle, which is a 5 ml, and that's about 85 drops in there. I like to use this oil myself for a bit of a back condition. So by the end of the day, I can be getting quite achy on my back. So I often use the Deep Blue oil, or there's also a Deep Blue rub, which is like a cream that contains the oil. So if you're wanting to cover a little bit of a wider surface area, the Deep Blue cream or rub is very good for that. That looks like this. So I will either put a few drops of the oil into a carrier oil or use the Deep Blue rub across my back at bedtime. I also find that if I've got a tension headache or a headache that feels more like a migraine, then rather than the peppermint oil, I will always go to the Deep Blue, and I'll put a couple of drops on my fingers and just rub it across my forehead and around the back of my ears and to the brainstem area at the back of the neck. And that works really, really well for me. But it's also really great for any type of pain. So things like arthritis or fibromyalgia. People like to use it before and after workouts because of the action on the capillaries and the way it can kind of warm and help to sort of stimulate and also relax the muscles. You can use it with frankincense oil. So if you've got any kind of muscular or ligament pain, then you would layer some frankincense oil over the top of the Deep Blue to intensify the effects. And if you had more of bone pain, then you would use wintergreen oil, and you would do the same. You would layer it over the top, and you're going to actually intensify the effects of the oil. Emotionally, so all oils, even although we're sort of mainly talking about physical effects today, all the oils do have emotional qualities as well. And there's a really lovely book that I really, really like, and I know many people within my team like, and it's called Emotions and Essential Oils. And within that, you don't get any protocols, but you get really lovely descriptions on each oil and the therapeutic or emotional properties of them, I should say. So emotionally, Deep Blue is the oil of surrendering to pain. Okay.
Oh, you said about the different caps, Sarah?
Yes, I haven't said about that. The Deep Blue oil does have a different cap. So I just hold up a regular bottle. I don't know if you can see that, but it has a sort of a child safety cap, and Deep Blue is the only oil in this particular set that you wouldn't take internally. It's because of the wintergreen oil. And so there's the cap on there just to remind you that we don't take that one internally. What doTERRA have done for people with systemic pain, so people with arthritis or fibromyalgia, or even for me with my back pain, the Deep Blue rub was easing the pain, but I was still noticing for me that every night I still had that pain. They've taken the wintergreen oil out, and they've put the Deep Blue oil in a capsule along with other lovely kind of anti-inflammatory agents, such as there's pomegranate in there, and I think there's green tea extract and turmeric and a few other things. And I've started taking that. I've been taking that for about 3 weeks now, along with 3 of the doTERRA supplements that form something called the Lifelong Vitality Pack. And I'm noticing, a tangible benefit and reduction in pain that I'm experiencing. So I'm really happy about that. Okay, thanks, Chloe. So the next one we're going to talk about is Breathe. So Breathe is doTERRA's respiratory blend. and it's got lots of lovely oils in it. It's got laurel and eucalyptus. It's got peppermint. It's got melaleuca. It's got lemon. It's got cardamom. And this particular oil, we've had some really, well, I've personally had some great, successes with people that I've just given the oil to for even just coughs. People have reported back that even just giving them a little sample of the Breathe, that people's coughs, have got better. But also within our wider team, there's one particular lady who has a little boy he was on lots and lots of asthma medications and started using the Breathe, and now he rarely needs his medications. And that's not, the only story like that. You hear that a lot with this oil. So anything respiratory, this oil can support you for. So things like asthma, any types of allergies, bronchitis, hay fever, even anxiety. So again, the emotional aspect of the Breathe oil is anything, if you imagine anything that might be affecting your ability to breathe on an emotional level. So anxiety would be one of those, but also grief, and interestingly, snoring. So to help with snoring, you can put the oil, Breathe oil, maybe diluted in a touch of coconut oil or carrier oil across the bridge of your nose or on the soles of your feet. I use it on my son's chest every night. He just tends to get a little bit stuffy at bedtime, so I'll either put it on his chest or I'll put it in the diffuser at night and have that going in his bedroom, which is also a really lovely way to diffuse the oil, because there's also oils that help promote a restful sleep within Breathe itself. Okay. Digesen. So Digesen says what it does on the can, really. It's a digestive support. It's just changed its name to Zengest. So you may see it as Digesen or Zengest. And this one is really great because it really can support any digestive imbalances. It contains ginger and peppermint and caraway, coriander, anise seed, tarragon and fennel seed. So all of these herbs, all these oils are known to support the digestive system, and they all have slightly different functions. So the oils, this particular oil, I love to use if I'm going away as a bit like a digestive enzyme. So I put a drop in water with a meal, and sometimes when I go away, if I'm eating foods that I'm not used to, I'll get a slightly crampy tummy. And I did this recently in Marrakesh, and I put a drop of Digesen in some water at the beginning of every meal, and it totally eliminated that feeling. And then I ran out because I just took a very small little sample bottle with me, and I noticed, I could really tell the difference. I also use this with my children. If one of my children's complaining, of a tummy ache, I'll dilute it in a little bit of carrier oil, and again I'll rub it around their tummy areas. You can, it's great for nausea, for travel sickness, for pregnancy-related sickness, upset tummies. It's also a rebalancing oil. So like Chloe was mentioning earlier, it can rebalance the body and help bring the body back into homeostasis. So, for example, with Digesen, it wouldn't matter whether you had, you were having constipation or loose stools going into kind of, diarrhea. You could use this oil and it would help rebalance the body. Okay. And then On Guard. On Guard is one of my favourite oils. It smells amazing and it really delivers. So we like to describe this as Christmas in a bottle. And the reason for this is it's wild orange oil that we smelt earlier, along with 4 spices. So within that, you've got clove, you've got cinnamon, you've got eucalyptus, and you've got rosemary leaf. And these oils are all highly protective. The clove oil within On Guard is nature's highest antioxidant. You can think about clove being a very spiky plant, which is kind of, as a metaphor for being quite protective. You've got the cinnamon bark on a tree, which is also very protective. So you've got all these lovely oils, and they're actually being used extensively throughout America in hospitals. They're being diffused, and also there's a hospital in Manchester here in England called Christie's Hospital, And the reason they're using this oil is because, and it's the On Guard oil that they're using, is because it's been found to kill the MRSA virus and also airborne pathogens within 5 minutes. So, I think that's incredible. And another reason, or another way it can be used in a similar way, is we can use it at home with our children. So I would put a couple of drops diluted on my children's feet most days. And, we know it's going to have an effect on the cells within 20 to 30 minutes. So it's really nice for me as a mum, and very empowering to know that, I can use this oil every day to look after the health of my kids and ward off kind of bacteria and viral infections. You can also use it, on your throat diluted. For example, if you had a sore throat, it can be gargled. We can take a drop or two in some water. You can also make up something called a flu bomb, and On Guard is one of the ingredients in that. So you also would include lemon and frankincense and oregano and melaleuca, either in a rollable like Darcy was mentioning earlier, or in a capsule. And then there's a few other uses that you'll see on the slides there. It can be used with cleaning and as a mouth rinse.
On Guard is so amazing. doTERRA does a whole On Guard range, and they do a great foaming hand wash, which that my kids love it because it's foaming and it encourages them to wash their hands. And I know that it's actually protecting them. It doesn't have all the same kind of nasty chemicals as normal antibacterial hand washes. They also do a cleaner concentrate. They do a toothpaste. They do lots of different On Guard products. So it's just really good that I know when I'm cleaning my kitchen or my bathroom, for example, I'm really, cleaning up all those bugs and germs as well, but in a healthy way. I'm not using bleach with all those toxic fumes. And so it's just a really great blend.
I think one of my favourite products is the sort of the pre-made flu bomb. I'll hold it up because I happen to.
Yes, I love these. This has kept me cold free all winter.
Yeah, they're amazing. I'm taking them. Yeah, I'm doing a kind of a short kind of course of them at the moment, and they're a ready-made flu bomb. So if you don't fancy kind of making up your own, or you can't be bothered, or you just want the convenience, it's slightly different oil. So it's the On Guard oil, and then you have Melissa and black pepper, and what's the other one? Is it?
Oregano.
Thank you.
But Melissa is so expensive to buy, so if you were going to make it up yourself, Melissa's doTERRA's most expensive oil, so it's better, it's cheaper to buy it as the pre-made flu bomb. And 2 or 3 times over the winter I've felt those initial stages where you just know you're coming down with something, and I've taken one of those flu bombs every hour. And I've never had to take a 4th one. By the time I've taken 3, it's just seen off whatever it was that was coming on. And touch wood, being cold free all winter.
Yeah, and also it's emotionally, this is a protective oil emotionally as well. So I like to I use it myself because I'm a therapist, and therapists can take on other people's energies because they're working, with people all the time. But also anyone, if anyone that maybe takes on other people's emotions, they're very empathic or they're sensitive souls, this is a really nice one to diffuse as well, and it gives you it can offer some emotional protection as well, which I really like.
Yeah, we diffuse this one at home a lot, especially in germ term or cold and flu season, when people are coming into your house and coughing, and it's just a really good protective blend to diffuse.
It is. Okay, so frankincense. So I could do a whole probably 2-hour class on frankincense because it's so complex. It's an amazing oil. It has because it's so complex chemically, it has loads and loads and loads of uses. Along with lavender, frankincense is one of those that they say if in doubt use frankincense. It's so I'll start with some of the more kind of minor uses, if you like, first. So it's a beauty oil. It's reported to kind of help smooth fine lines. So after the oil, I have a carrier oil, and I put my essential oils in that I want to use on my face. So I use lemon and orange and geranium. and lavender, and then I always, after that, layer a drop of frankincense over the top. It's sort of got a long history of being used for spiritual practices and religion and prayer. It helps to kind of quieten and focus the mind. So in that sense, it's very good for meditation. You know, you can put a drop on your third eye point, or perhaps kind of under your nose, and use it to help quieten. So in that sense as well, it's quite good for anything that you might want to try and focus and quieten the mind for, so study or work, for example. It's also an enhancer of other oils. So like I was mentioning with the deep blue, and also sort of using it as a face oil, but in any application, you can layer frankincense after, if you're using it topically, any other oil to help intensify the effects of those other oils by up to 10 times. And also, you know, you can put it in the diffuser with whatever other oils you're using to do the same thing. It's a great immune support. It's anti-inflammatory. It says there, you can see that it has, you can put it with lavender and peppermint and frankincense together to calm stress and tension. And I can vouch for that. I've tried that and that works really well. I really like that combination. It's also lovely with orange. In Chloe, you told me about the orange and frankincense together in raw chocolate. I would never have thought of that, but that's really nice. It's a great one to take every day internally as a protective, general health protective effects, because we know that frankincense has an effect on the cells of our body. So there's lots of research out there, lots of exciting research on, for example, cancer. So we don't kind of make any health claims here, but we do encourage you, if that is relevant to you, you know, you can go and do your own research, and there's lots and lots coming out on that now. Other things it does, so going back to the cells, actually, the phrase that we've kind of coined is that it helps your cells remember how to be perfect again. So it really is kind of impacting our bodies at a cellular level and you know, DNA health as well. Going back to the head, so the other applications, we can use frankincense for migraines. We have lots and lots of great testimonials where it's helped people where nothing else has. And what you would do for migraines is you would put a drop of frankincense oil on your thumb, and then you would put your thumb in your mouth and you would hold your thumb to the roof of your mouth. And then the oil can kind of travel upwards to where it needs to be. And with that in mind, other sort of applications doing the same thing, thinking about the brain for a minute. It can help with Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, dementia, and brain fog. So really an amazing, amazing oil. Darcy or Chloe, do you have anything to add?
I don't think so.
Okay.
No, just that I love frankincense.
I must admit that when I first got frankincense in my first kit, I kind of didn't know what to do with it. I wasn't particularly drawn to the smell, but I found myself just using it, and it was the first oil I got through it the quickest, and I think I was really drawn to it, and maybe my body just needed it. Yeah, so it's a lovely one. I wouldn't be without it.
So
Yeah.
did you mention with frankincense using it on the roof of the mouth for migraines?
I did, yeah.
You did, sorry.
Fine, it's okay. Yeah, so that brings us to the end of talking about the 10 oils that form the Family Physicians Kit, and also, you know, the webinar this evening. So I hope you guys have found it, you know, really interesting and informative and empowering, and I'm just going to pass you over to Chloe now to just take you through, you know, for those of you that might be interested in trying some of the oils for yourself, how you can go about getting them.
Thanks, Sarah. Okay, so if you haven't already got your account and got your oils to try, I'm just going to tell you quickly about how you can buy the oils if you would like to, because you can't buy them in shops, and although they are for sale on Amazon and eBay, I don't recommend buying them there because they haven't come direct from doTERRA. and if there's a lot of scams about, and if anything were to happen, you wouldn't be covered by doTERRA if you bought them from Amazon or eBay. So there's basically two ways to buy the oils with doTERRA. You can buy them at retail price or at wholesale price. And if it really was literally just one or two oils you wanted to try and you didn't think that you would want to buy any more in future, I would recommend that you just buy them at retail price. And you can do that by going to Sarah or Darcy's website. You can set up a retail account there, but you do pay the full retail price for them. If you think that you'd be interested in buying more than one or two oils, or if you wanted to buy more in future, then by far the most economical way to buy these oils is to get yourself a wholesale account. And with doTERRA, anyone can have a wholesale account, and there's no minimum purchase needed. So there's no obligation to spend a certain amount. So the wholesale account works a little bit like a Costco card. So it costs you £24 for the year, and for that year you get 25% off all the oils and all the products. And you actually get access to further discounts and free products as well with that account. So basically the starting discount is 25%. And then if at the end of the year you wanted to renew, you can do that, and it costs £18 and you get a free peppermint essential oil. So it kind of works out sort of free to renew if you wanted to. I'm just going to bring up on screen, I can do a new share. And hopefully I can, here we go. Can everyone see that? Can you see that, Sarah?
I can see it.
Yeah, perfect. So this is the enrolment form. So what doTERRA's done for when people are first starting out with doTERRA, they've put together a few kits. And these kits are great because A, they're cheaper than if you were to buy all the oil separately, and B, with the enrolment kits, that £24 is completely waived, so you get your wholesale account for free. So this is the most cost-effective way to open an account with doTERRA and get your first few oils. So the kit that we talked about today, we've talked about the Family Physician Kit, which is your 10 core oils. That kit will cost you £110.40 plus your post and packaging. And with that, you get in those 10 core oils in 5 ml size bottles. And a 5 ml size bottle is approximately 85 drops. So with that Family Physician Kit, you get your also get your free enrolment, and you get comes with a free bottle of Slim and Sassy, although I think it's now called Smart and Sassy, which is the metabolic blend. It contains lemon and grapefruit, which are very cleansing, contains peppermint to help curb cravings and just settle down the appetite, and it contains cinnamon and one other oil, which I've forgotten.
Ginger.
Say again? Ginger, yeah. It's just helped to gently speed up your metabolism in a natural way. So
it's really delicious in fizzy water as well, Chloe. We had it in my class this morning, and it's
Did you?
Great. Yeah, really nice drink in water.
Yeah, it is. It's great, and I think you can rub it on topically as well for cellulite. So it's a really great oil. So you get that free with the Family Physician Kit. And then there is another kit as well called the Home Essentials Kit. So if I just scroll down.
Will I hold the oils up? Just show you the
Yeah, I actually, because I'm screen sharing, I can't see anyone else. So if you can hold it up, that would be great. So I'll just briefly tell you the difference between the Home Essentials Kit and the Family Physician Kit. They're basically the same 10 oils in each kit, but the Family Physician Kit, all the bottles are 5 ml. So are you holding them up, Sarah?
I am, yeah.
Thank you. Which is approximately 85 drops. And in the Home Essentials Kit, all the bottles except Deep Blue are in 15 ml size bottles, which is approximately 250 drops. So the Home Essentials Kit, you get approximately 3 times the amount of oil, but it's twice the price. And with that, you get a free diffuser and, of course, your free enrolment. So it's a really, if your budget will stretch, it's a much better value kit because you get a lot more oil for your money. So that's the Home Essentials kit. I'm just going to see if I can show you. There's actually an offer on this month where if you spend on your account or you enroll with an order of 200 PV or more, PV is basically doTERRA's, its points value. Every product has a points value, but it roughly equates to American dollars. But if you enroll with an order of 200 PV or more, you get this free deep blue rub that Sarah spoke about today, and a free deep blue touch roll-on. And the Home Essentials kit would qualify you for those freebies because the Home Essentials kit is 220 PV. So the Home Essentials kit this month is even better value because you get more freebies with it.
Sorry, just to say,
yeah.
Sorry to interrupt. I added up that those 2 items that you get free, if you were to get them at wholesale prices, they cost £90.
Yeah, it's a really good offer.
Yeah, like the rub costs 30 normally and the other one costs 60. So
yeah,
yeah,
it's a really good offer. And of course you're getting your free diffuser, which normally costs about £38, and your free enrollment, which is £24. So it's a really good offer, the Home Essentials kit this month. There is one other kit which we haven't really spoken about tonight, but it's an enrollment kit that sometimes people like to go for, and that's the Emotional Aromatherapy kit. And that comes also with a free diffuser and free enrollment. And that one's £155.40 plus your post and packaging. It's nice sometimes to get a wooden box to put your oils in. If you're going to spend this amount of money on the, the most incredible oils on earth, it's good to get a box to store them correctly, so that they last. These oils will last if they're stored correctly, which means not putting them next to a direct heat source or in direct sunlight, not leaving the lids off for long periods of time. And the wooden box just helps to really keep those in good condition. These key rings are just fantastic. I don't know if you've got one to hand, Sarah, that you can show.
So which one, sorry?
The key ring.
Yeah,
don't worry if you have it. It's basically you get inside 8 empty sample size bottles, and you can fill them with whichever oils you want to have in there, and then put a little label on the top to say what the oil is. And it just means you can always have your favorite oils with you at all times. So say, for example, if you're in a bar or a hotel, you could have lemon and add it to your water. I always keep lavender with me in case I'm out and one of the kids gets a nettle rash or a bee sting. Digestion's a really great one to carry with you. So the key ring is a really great addition as well. We will send this enrollment form out with an email out to all you guys who are on the call tonight. And all these oils can be bought separately as well, both at wholesale and at retail price. So we'll send out a price list. So you've got access to the price list, so you can see the individual costs of every oil, and you can have a look at the order form as well. Is there anything else I need to add?
Did you mention the wellness consultation?
No, I haven't. Right, so with your wholesale account, you get quite a lot of perks with that. If you're on Facebook, it comes with access to some secret doTERRA Facebook groups, which are a great resource and packed with loads of great information. There's a secret website we can give you the link to, which is just a huge resource that I bookmark and I refer to daily, which is really incredible. And you also get a free wellness consultation with Sarah or Darcy or myself, whoever invited you today, where we'll just go over all your oils with you, answer any questions you have about your oils, show you how to log into your account and get the most out of your account, and make sure you're happy and confident using your oils, because we covered a lot of information today. And I know that when your kit arrives, it can be a bit overwhelming, a bit daunting, and you're thinking, oh, what was it they said again? So it's really good to have that wellness consultation, that time, just to ask any questions, and also go over any ailments that you specifically want to look at, that Sarah or Darcy or myself can help pick the right oils for you. So you get your free wellness consultation, and there's lots and lots of resources. You know, there's doTERRA's got some fantastic websites. You can look up their blog. They do a science blog. Their main website's got loads of information, so you're never on your own. And there's always lots of support and help on your doTERRA journey. So I think that's kind of covered everything, but I'm going to have a look at the chat box.
Yeah.
Do you want to stop the record, Sarah?
Yes, and I